What's up? Wednesday, July 24th, two-man Wednesday. Myself and Big F. Jason, Big Phil, and Dukes behind the glass. All right, I had Hard Knocks starting off the show, but I just got alerted to a tweet and a video that is, in my opinion, extremely, extremely cringe. Can you pull up Notre Dame's football's account, please? You have yet to see this.
I have not.
It's tough. It's a tough look.
From the main account.
From their main account. Shout out Gary and Queens. Gary and Queens alerted me to it. It said it's not your father's Notre Dame. That was the one. Yeah, with the sign. It's long. We'd have to cut it, so you're going to have to, skip ahead.
I want things and needles.
I hit him with this early, so the technical difficulties are all my fault.
Some games, and I've lost some games, and I choose winning every single time.
Dude, this is
At least as a winner, when I have to face my problems, I show up to my press conference in a $2,000 suit and a $40,000 watch. All right, guys, duke it out. Get him! Get him!
What the fuck?
So there's more. He's doing
I've
my
won
telephone
some games,
warriors.
and I've lost some games, and I choose winning.
There was a 1:50 video that I saw. It's tough, dude. That's a tough one.
Marcus Freeman's an Ohio State guy. He's a Buckeye. Great linebacker for a long time. I just wonder.
That's the world of social media, though.
That's what I was gonna
somebody
say. I wonder,
came to them.
From the social media team was like, you want to be a great idea, Marcus? If you played Jordan Belfort, we just recreated this scene.
You see those blue-gray jerseys?
Yeah, see?
Those are Shamrock Series uniforms. I'm going to let you in on a secret about these uniforms.
Oh, that's
They're
coming.
not going to win the game.
This is a promo for the for the promo for the.
I think it's a promo for the promo.
They're just worthless hunks of material.
I could be wrong.
It's just like lining up for the opening kickoff without a ball on the tee. In the case of this uniform, it's up to each and every one of you. My highly trained football players. My dogs. My dogs. My dogs who would not take no for an answer. My warriors who will not hang up their helmet until their opponent gives up or gives in.
That's not bad. All right, maybe I'm back in on this.
It's kind of funny.
Maybe I'm back in on this.
It's like so bad that it's good kind of thing.
Oh, okay. We finally see him.
But we do get the uniform.
Okay, we do get the uniform. It's a bad uniform.
Yeah, I'm not good. It's too shiny. Too shiny. Tried to go with the gold, like the helmet gold on the jersey.
The white underneath looks awful too. All right, I'm back in when he did that.
It was funny.
It was
from my angle too. It's like, even if Marcus Freeman didn't want to do it, sometimes social, it's just their job is to be
100%.
get the most engagement we have to.
100%.
And if Marcus Freeman gave them pushback because they're trying to do their jobs and they felt like this could get the most interactions, he'd be an asshole.
Yeah. They're right. You either have to love it or hate it, and I think we're both on the fence of we don't know what we did it.
The fact that you love it or hate it, though,
agreed.
They did their job.
Yeah, agreed.
It made you feel where you stopped the show in its tracks. We got to start with this.
Got to start with this.
That social media guy,
yeah.
he won.
He won. He did a good job.
I got something for you guys. I thought you could go here in the main group chat today. I woke was on the train, got a text message. Meek Phil notification. Did you guys see the Daniel Jones pass out of the backfield?
No, I did not.
I saw that he was.
He said it was blowing up on Twitter. It had 100 likes.
I saw other accounts tweeted out.
It was just. I felt like it was the biggest nothing. I don't know.
I mean, I saw that he wasn't throwing well.
He missed running back out of the backfield when the running back ran in my opinion, the flattest route of all time.
I mean, we can't judge him this year. He's coming off a torn ACL. I mean, just what it is.
All right, so the Hard Knocks was the other story coming out.
Also, honestly, the more damning thing about Illuminator is hurt.
Yeah.
2 seconds into practice. Hurt, down for a long time, they said.
Shit.
He walked off the field in his own power, but had a, quote, large contingent with him on the sideline. So that's horrifying. Absolutely horrifying.
Yeah, it's not good.
We need a right tackle.
Yeah, so we watched, if you watched Hard Knocks last night, I actually thought it was an underwhelming episode. because once you start figuring out the timing of it, I was like, all right, this is just the lead into the draft. They're not going to show us the draft.
Yeah, the only
setup to the draft.
The only things I thought were like actually interesting as a fan to like just see how the sauce is made kind of thing was one, the actual like the phone call he had with the Patriots being like, hey, like what do we like what is it going to take? Like give me, and him just saying like, hey, it's going to be something just astronomical, like we're probably not going to. And then I thought it was cool kind of seeing, like, right before the draft, I'm sitting down with Mara and Tish and literally laying out, like, the plan, all right, like, this is what happens, this is what we're going to do. If this happens, this is what we're going to do. Like, if Marv Neighbors is there, we're not doing nothing, we're picking them, that's it. If they go here, if, like, those guys go, and then it was, like, the Jets or somebody wants to trade up, or the Bears want to trade up for a Dunze, we'll figure it out. And it was, like, all, like, just putting together, knowing exactly, like, what we're going to do. And then he had talked to, like, he basically had, like, pre-made deals with like 4 or 5 teams. We're like, if things go this way, like let's do this.
When he says I'm in the options of I could be in 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9.
Yeah.
When he says all that,
and he has a thing with like Arizona already planned out. Like if that Arizona wanted Marv, like if for some reason Marv like gets picked at 3 or something, if something crazy happens, we'll make this deal. It was like the Bears they had to deal with, the Titans they had they were going to talk to. So it was kind of interesting seeing Joe Shane just like wheeling and dealing like couple days before, just like, all right, like getting all the ducks in a row, which I thought was thorough at least. I mean, he definitely was thorough about it.
Right. The other thing I thought was interesting was Dable doing the exercise of like how many hit in terms of quarterbacks for the last 10 years when they lay that out.
And they didn't even,
I don't know. He's not making a case one way or the other for Daniel Jones. He's just kind of like, we either got to get this right or there's like a lot of possibility that we won't get it right. That's just a fact.
Well, I think he was, I think he was basically laying out like, this is obviously if we do it, if it somehow happens, it's a massive risk. And it wasn't even so much, like obviously it was an exercise of like hit or miss, but it was basically how many of these guys are still with the team there.
Yeah.
That was like the red or blue, and it was probably like 20%?
Right.
Not even, or like probably 20% that are still with the same team. Because there were some guys who could argue like, Baker's not with the same team, but like I wouldn't call Baker like a bust.
No, I mean he wasn't. He never was an elite quarterback worth a number one pick.
But I'm saying like a number one pick who goes on to be like multiple time Pro Bowler, take multiple teams to the playoffs, starter, like 9-figure contract. Like I don't think you can say that guy's a bust.
No, he wasn't a bust, but he never was. He didn't bring them a Super Bowl. He wasn't the elite of the elite.
And when you consider the situation he was in Cleveland.
Right.
I mean, right now, who would you rather have as a quarterback?
Yeah, I'd rather have him.
And he makes way less money.
Right.
So I think it's kind of like there was a few like that. Like obviously went back far to like Bortles was like it was 2014 was like the first one they talked about. And Bortles was kind of like he's interesting, but like do you consider Bortles a bust? I don't know if I call that a bust. I don't know a guy that took a team to the playoffs.
Zero chance.
Like I don't think so, right? Like I don't think that's a bust.
Patriots fan here should have made a Super Bowl.
Like I don't think a guy who started in the league for like 7-8 years, brought teams like deep into playoffs, winning teams.
Right.
Like
I was never elite, but yeah.
But he had some good years, led teams to the playoffs. Well, he's in the league for 9 years, 9 years. It's an interesting debate.
Right.
Like that Jaguars-Patriots game, he should have been in the Super Bowl. I'm saying that.
That was I'm pretty sure that was where kind of Jersey Jerry was born a little bit.
That run.
I'm saying like I think that his freak out was I believe to them losing to the Jets.
Right.
I believe.
Yeah.
In the playoffs.
Blake Bortles.
Do you consider
Blake Bortles making that made the Jersey Jerry video?
Yeah. I was curious.
It's just nothing.
Would you consider someone like Carson Wentz a bust?
That's a good question.
I don't know about a bust, but just like a nice.
That's honestly a great question. I would lean towards yes, honestly, just because it was so short.
Yeah.
Like obviously his peak was he was about to win MVP.
Right.
But he just was so like bad after. I think he would need to be good for a little longer to not be a bust.
You think he wins that Super Bowl if he plays?
It's sort of tough because they make the whole run without him. Like they win all the playoff games without him too.
Yeah.
And Foles just played so well.
Foles played out of his mind.
Wentz,
that's what
Wentz is an interesting. Like that's a good question. I would lean yes, but it's almost with like a little asterisk.
Right.
But yeah, I would say probably yeah.
Yeah. Did you watch it last night, Dukes? No. Yeah, I thought there was a lot to kind of unpack, but I did think it was very much a lead-in episode. It was like we're not getting the draft.
Also, I like too, and this one thing, I don't think this was editing. I think it was very clear, just the way even like everyone talked about it. They love Neighbors.
Yeah.
Like even the receiver coach was like, if, out of the three, out of Marv, him, and
I would take Neighbors.
He was like Neighbors. A lot of them were like Marv, were just Neighbors is like the guy.
Yeah, I mean he's gonna have a big impact if things go right.
And Dable talked about it because he used to coach under Saban, and he talked to Saban.
Yep.
And basically said that Saban was like, there's two guys. There's Neighbors and there's Brock Bowers. And the Giants also sneaky said if they had somehow, say Neighbors went fifth to the Chargers, if they had traded back to 9 or like anywhere back,
They would have got Neighbors.
and it wasn't,
They would have got Bowers.
Doomsday, they basically said like Bowers was the guy.
Right.
Which I thought that was interesting.
Yeah. So they had a plan. They went after it. Yeah, but there's a lot of pressure on Neighbors. I mean, he looks great on tape and on the whatever what we see out of him. So.
We just needed a dynamic playmaker so badly.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting to see how they plan, what the other teams are going to do. Obviously, you know what I mean? Like, getting a sniff of we're going to go offensive tackle here, or we're going to go quarterback. These when they started linking the lines to the different teams, So Shane's been good in this.
Yeah, I liked. Like I said, I liked the thing with the receiver coach too. I thought it was so interesting having like basically you have like the top 30 visits. And literally having Neighbors, Marvin, and Dunze all there together.
Right.
Like just one meeting and just running through shit with them. Like I thought that was fascinating, the approach to kind of put them all in the same room and like have them all run through that like that with the wide receiver coach. I wonder how many other teams are doing that. Are taking like literally putting all these three guys together. 'Cause I always assumed those meetings were like when you come visit, like it's very one-on-one. I would have thought. Like, I was surprised to see them put them all together, but I thought it was, like, fascinating. Because, obviously, it's been, like, they were, like, the big three receiving core all year. The whole draft process, it was, like, great receiving class, but it was, like, the big three. So just throw them all together like that in a room and just ask them questions and just kind of put their, like, football brains and what routes they want to run, how they'd approach things was – I just thought it was interesting. I'm very curious, like, how many other teams would do that or, like, do that. Like imagine having three quarterbacks and having them all together.
Yeah.
It almost like testing their brains like against each other. Like obviously receivers are a little different. It's not quite as mental as quarterback is. There's so much more, but still kind of interesting just to throw them all like in the
yeah. That's I didn't think of that. I didn't think of that.
How they handle it, how they respond to things.
That they all had it together. I also think you can get a little bit of competition, like
that's what I like.
Read on guys like that. Yeah. Like, he's answering questions, or he knows this, and this guy doesn't know that. Like, you can,
the one he asked him,
you can read how they react.
He asked like Neighbors. He's like, "What did you do here?" He's like, "I tell him I'm running the slant," and he's like, "But when you tell him the route you're running?" He's like, "Tell him I'm open." Like he was saying before the like,
right.
Like if you see this coverage or this like whatever, he's like, I'm telling him I'm open before the play even. They all kind of said he was like, I'm open.
I'm open, yeah.
Like before the play even.
Yeah, there's a lot to read off of that.
But I liked it. I liked putting them all together. I just thought that was interesting.
Chat wants to know. Do you have any State of the Union on the Yankees?
We had that on the list.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, we
Sorry,
get
chat was clamoring for me to ask.
No, we had the list. I know it was a tough loss. Nimmo. McNeil had. I'll do it from a Mets side first. McNeil completely redeemed himself. I feel like you don't get to see that a lot. Like McNeil makes the base running error. That's a complete error. It was so bad. The SNY Picks put a run up on the board. That's how bad it was. They thought we were good. Then we leave the bases loaded. That nobody gets. Well, one gets in, but you still leave the bases loaded. McNeil comes back with a dinger. Like makes some good plays in the field. Like it was a really big Jeff McNeil game. Even the broadcast was like, "Welcome back, Jeff McNeil." Like that's good to have. I just don't know where we're gonna be with the deadline because it's like I've seen everything I've seen. It's like one of those buy and sell type things, or like to be determined. Like that's where we're at. Like I don't know if we want to go all in and give up prospects, like a boatload of prospects. But we're in the wild card right now. So, like, what is it? If Cohen was this big, bad, like, never-ending empty pocket guy, what's he saying if he's not going all in?
Yeah, I mean, the Yankees are just, like, I don't even want to say they've been playing better. They were just playing so bad that now it's like they haven't been, like, as awful. But, I mean, it's the same story since, like, the Rizzo and Stanton injury. I mean, it's no one else can hit besides Soto and Judge. You're now firmly seeing it where, like, Judge isn't even getting, like, pitches to hit.
Right.
Like, he's getting nothing. He got walked 4 times. He struck out in the 9th. Even like I just think it's tough between that bunch, and I agree. Like, when you just look at the Yankees lineup, and you see, like, with Soto and Judge 2-3, and you see fucking Jahmai Jones leading off, and then J.D. Davis batting cleanup.
Who's everybody,
what the fuck is going on? Like, I just don't. These are the times when, like, there are moments where I think Boone gets criticized too much sometimes, but then he puts out lineup cards like that, and I'm like, how can you defend this guy? Like, he's a fucking dumbass. I just can't. Like, I would love to see him logically explain the thought process behind doing that. Like, in what world is Jones batting leadoff in this lineup?
Especially against the Mets.
Davis. Like, of course they're gonna walk him. Like, what do you mean? Like, and I understand, like, Verdugo's not hitting, Volpe's not hitting, LeMahieu's been dog shit. Torres, Gleyber actually hit a home run last night, but he hasn't been hitting. Like, I understand the reserve of, like, but any of those guys, Dugo, Volpe, like Torres, on their worst day, really Dugo, Volpe, on their worst day, I'd still rather trot out their leadoff. I understand Dugo's a lefty, so you're trying to, like, work around it as best you can. But I don't see why you don't put, like, either them at 4 or, like, 1 and 4. I guess they're trying to keep something in the back of the lineup, but it's like, I saw HubStreet. I'll give him credit, like HubStreet today, and it's like it's like obvious when you say it, like, the leadoff guy gets the most at bats.
Yeah, I agree.
Why in the world is Jones batting leadoff? Like, it's just a crazy, crazy thing. They need guys to get healthy. They clearly need to make moves. Like, Gil pitched good last night.
Yeah.
Really good last night. Like, I've obviously no complaints.
Got himself out of a jam early.
Like, no complaints about the way he pitched. He pitched very well. Like, if you're going to score 2 runs, like, you're probably not going to win.
Right.
You saw the quote that Juan Soto had after the game last night?
No, what'd he say?
It's going to take more than 2 guys to win a championship. So
a little bit of locker room problems, too.
That comment from Severino, I think, is maybe starting to get in the head a bit.
Nah, well, I'm pretty sure he said that a few nights ago after they had after the bottom lineup hit it well. I think you might have misplayed that quote to the wrong game.
I'm just saying that quote's been...
He said, but he didn't say that last night. He said that 2 nights ago when they scored a bunch of runs and won, and the bottom of the lineup hit well.
Okay.
So he didn't throw anyone on the bus. All
right, so that's a big difference.
He said that after a big win. When was it Monday? They scored a shit ton of runs against the Rays during the day. They won, and he was like, "It's going to take we need everyone to hit. Obviously, we're going to put up big numbers."
Okay.
I mean, he's still right.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, I saw the date wrong, July 22nd. So I was wrong.
By the way,
I was wondering. I was like,
he was
now
commenting
he's
the back
gonna
of his
scour for tweets for the next 12 months.
No, because I was wrong. I thought that was.
Give you the biggest gotcha moment when you least expect it.
I got the date wrong. That was the 22nd. I was like, oh, that's
that was
weird.
because Soto hit 2 home runs, but it was LeMahieu hit a home run. I think Volpe had a few hits.
Yeah.
He was commenting that we were starting to get going a little bit. But yeah, no, I mean, obviously we have a lot of flaws right now. It's crazy because we have the 2. We probably have not even probably. I would say we do have the 2 best hitters in the AL, like without question.
Why?
The 2 best position players in the AL, without question.
Why don't other teams just pitch to the Yankees the way we do? It's like, oh, we're just not going to pitch to Aaron Judge.
I mean, everyone's been doing that the last month.
Why did they wait till June to start doing that then? Why does Aaron Judge have 35 home runs? Why are teams ever pitch to him?
Make mistakes. And also, I mean, for the first half of the year, we had protection. Like, Stanton was hitting. We had someone, like, Volpe was hitting a lot better. Verdugo was hitting a lot better. Rizzo was, like, at least somewhat. I mean, he was better than the guys we have right now. We had more protection until, like, when Verdugo and Volpe started falling off, Stanton and Rizzo got hurt, everything changed after that. Like, they weren't able to just, like, walk these guys when they were all hitting better / healthy.
I was told by someone on the show that Giancarlo Stanton doesn't make a difference, and apparently he does.
Definitely makes a difference.
Yeah, you need him back. You need him back.
Also, one minute, Rico, you were talking about the Mets, like what they're going to do at the trade deadline. My intel is basically the same as like what's been reported. They'll probably get like 2 or 3 like low, like not big name relievers.
Right.
Guys, nobody's going to knock your socks off. Maybe they get a corner outfield bat. But maybe. I think they're definitely going to get at least 2 or 3 relievers, but like it's not going to be a name that'll knock your socks off like a David Robertson or someone like that.
No, that's fine. I mean, just keep plugging in the relievers and see what works. I would like a bat. I really would. I don't know. I think that solidifies the lineup just a little bit more, you know, especially with Alonso struggling.
I mean, they're 5 for their last 52 at runners in scoring position. And
Agreed.
Somehow are 3 and 2.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. You think the average comes back on that?
I mean, it is a level. I can't speak. It's a level evening out
Right.
because they were so hot before that stretch, and now it's okay. They're cold, but they were winning games even with that.
If you had to put your money on it, do you think the Mets make the playoffs?
Oh yes, I think.
Really?
I don't think the Cardinals are a playoff team. I'm interested to see what the Pirates do because if they get like two or three hitters that they like really need, like they're scary. The Pirates are scary.
The Pirates are scary in a 3-game series, right?
And the Braves, they're not a lock for the playoffs.
Well, this 4-game series with the Mets
Like
and the Braves is massive.
This is a huge
Massive.
4-game set coming up. The Braves are dealing with so many injuries, and we're just waiting for them to be the Braves again. What if they just aren't?
That's a good point. What do you think? You think the Mets are going to make it or
It's
not?
not the Braves.
Yeah. They're just not the Braves of the past. I mean, they're missing a ton of guys.
Albies being on 8 weeks is brutal.
Huge.
Acuna obviously already. No, I mean Meek's not a totally bad point where it's like it is like the whole league's kind of like, all right, like Braves are going to turn around eventually.
Yeah.
And they're kind of in this weird spot where, like you said, like what's his name? What's his name from last year? Why am I
Matt Olson's been awful.
Olson, that's what I'm saying. Olson had 60 homers last year. He's been terrible. Like you said, obviously Acuna's hurt. Now Albies just hurt. Like Riley's been dog shit.
Right.
Like
they're just not playing as well. You think the Mets make the playoffs?
Probably. I mean, it's with like the extra wild card. It really is. You think like if you're a little bit above 500, like you're gonna be right there at least.
Yeah.
And I agree with him. Like the Cardinals' run differential, it just feels impossible for them not to have some regression. When you have that negative run differential and you're that far over 500, like water's gonna find its level eventually. The Pirates are the team that I like because we've said like they have the 3 starting pitchers that they can rely on, and even if the bats aren't great, they can hopefully, well, obviously for their sake, hopefully take that with them. And like you said, they'll be if they are able to get in, they'll be dangerous.
Yeah, I mean the schedule is manageable.
If they can get in or not.
If the Pirates get Jazz Chisholm, I'll be like very scared of them.
Yeah.
Because that could be a game changer.
Phil, what do we have to do against? Because I think it's safe to say we probably lose tonight. You're not going to take the season series. I mean, from the Yankees.
They could win, but yeah,
4-0 would be. You're playing with house money right now.
Yeah.
Going 3-1 is not the worst thing in the world if you lose to Cole. So like they lose tonight. What's the panic mode of what they have to do against the Braves? Do they have to win 2 against the Braves? They have to win all 4. Like what?
So you go into that series. At worst, you're going to be 3 back in the loss column, I'd say. Right? Wait. Okay, you'll either be. Let's say you're 3 games back going into that series. If you split and still are 3 games back with 2 months to go, that's not a bad spot to be in.
So you think just a split against the Braves? I don't argue with that.
And then we have the one more series in Atlanta late in September where we don't know what the Braves are going to be in 2 months. We don't know what they're going to be in a week. Like what moves are they going to make? How aggressive are they going to be with all their injuries this year?
Yeah, I think who are some of the teams that are going all in?
I think the Mariners are going to be like very aggressive.
Mariners will go all in.
Because they just need any bat anywhere. Like they could be a team that's aggressive. The Padres, they have an aggressive GM.
It's going to sound crazy, but the Guardians are tied for the best record in the AL.
Yeah.
So like, did they go all in? Like all in, all in?
I mean,
are they sniffing a World Series? Are they World Series good enough?
I have a World Series.
I don't think so, but I mean, I would think they're going to be at least somewhat aggressive.
I mean, you could go through it now. So like, Baltimore's going all in.
Yeah.
Yankees are going all in.
Yeah.
The Red Sox were in that same list that I read about the Mets, where it's like they don't know what they're doing. Guardians all in. Twins, I would imagine.
Twins are in. I mean, they're going to be.
Yeah, but I would imagine the Twins, Astros, and Mariners fighting for that division.
Astros will be.
And then the Rangers will probably be sellers, and the rest of the league is sellers.
Rangers sellers. I mean, White Sox are going to go full fire sale. Crochet.
Yep.
Luis Robert.
Would you take a chance on Luis Robert, Phil?
Well, that was going to be my other point. The thing that could break the league is if the Phillies could be interested in trading for both Robert and Crochet, and that would just make them like super nuclear.
Phillies are going all in. Braves probably going not all in, but they're going to need some help. The Mets
Braves are in a weird spot. They definitely are.
Mets are in a weird spot too. Brewers are probably going all in. Cardinals, I think, are in a very weird spot. They're minus 31 in run differential. Like they're due to hit the skids. Pirates will go all in. Cubs, I don't know. They'll probably make moves. Dodgers.
I don't know if the Pirates will go all in.
Yeah, I don't know about all in, but they'll make a move.
Because I think it's weird because I don't know if last year in the like that run, having like a team like the Diamondbacks and Rangers both make runs, how much that impacts like these teams being like, hey, like maybe we could get hot for a year and make something happen if we have this good starting pitching. Like maybe we can make something happen. Like, listen, I could definitely see the Pirates trading for a bat or two. Mm-hmm. I just don't know how much they're going to be like.
You can have good starting pitching now. A guy could blow his arm out like at any moment. So you gotta just seize the opportunity when you have the pitching.
That's fair, but I just don't know if the rest of their team is so far away. If they're gonna like I said, I think they will trade for at least a bat. I would think they definitely could use a bat. Really could use a couple of bats, but I don't know how much they're gonna be willing to just push like all the chips in with young Skeens and young Jones, Keller.
Dukes, what was your World Series pick?
Red Sox to beat the Phillies.
Really? It sounds like a homer pick.
What do you mean? I'm a Rockies
He's a
fan.
Rockies fan, bro.
Oh, he's a Rockies guy.
Look at his. He got
I think the Red Sox go all in.
Also, Dukes looked like the most Colorado guy of all time today.
He does.
With that hat, stash, and the Dead & Co. tie-dye, that's like every guy I've ever met from Colorado.
I like IPAs.
Yeah, loves IPAs. Loves hiking. Birkenstocks.
Yeah, I stopped drinking. Smoke pot.
Colorado
Go to concerts.
sober.
Yeah, take shrooms and go to Red
Yeah.
Rocks.
Yeah, exactly.
Dave Matthews saved my life.
Yeah.
Big summer trip to the Sphere.
yeah.
Widespread panic.
Yeah.
No, don't claim.
All right. Dodgers will make moves. Padres, I don't really know. Diamondbacks, I don't really know.
Yeah, Diamondbacks are kind of in a weird spot too. Because they've had a lot of injuries. Like Carroll's been so bad this year.
Phil, let me ask you a question. How far are the Reds out?
Like 5 games, I think. Hold up.
Could you see them trading a guy like, I don't know the ages, I don't know anything. Could you see them trading a guy like Benson or any of those guys? Like secondary tier? I don't expect them to send Edwin Encarnacion. Encarnacion Strand. What is it?
Encarnacion Strand. You got the name right?
Yeah.
So Dave basically said that they're selling rental relievers. So they aren't committing to like a full like sell, like a half-ish sell, where it's like, we'll sell, but not like anyone will control.
Will they sell a bat though?
Depends how these next few games go, because they're 4.5 out. Like you're not dead, but like you're not dead, you're not alive.
But you were also saying you're 4.5 out for like the last wild card spot.
Right.
But
Like you're like it's kind of like a like. There's
the door prize.
Like there's like
You're competing for a door prize.
Every team's within striking distance besides like what 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
In the NL, like it's like you're. I don't know. I think the benchmark of like 4 or 5 games back is not as.
They also have a
good as it used to.
plus 34 run differential, so they could think that they're a better team than what they are.
Okay. That's a stat I don't hate. Little doofus and positive regression.
Yeah. There's just so many teams to jump.
That's what I'm saying.
You have just ahead of them in like out of the wild card is the Padres, Diamondbacks, Pirates, and Cubs. Well, they're tied with the Cubs technically. They played one less. They played the same amount of games.
Like Jonathan India is a guy with control years. I don't know if they move him.
I don't think they would. I
don't think they would move that core.
I don't see why they would either. Like I don't think they should.
Yeah. But yeah, it's gonna be an interesting way to shake out. And then I think the AL is kind of boring in terms of that wild card. Just in terms of the wild card, you got the Red Sox sitting there and the Mariners.
And it's like you basically have like the Orioles and the Yankees are gonna have like one of the spots.
But like the Rays are 4.5 out and the Tigers are 6 out. Like Tigers a team you're getting excited
And you're thinking
about.
you're thinking the Yankees or Orioles are gonna be one of them, and you're thinking probably Guardians like Twins.
Yeah,
Twins are probably gonna be one of them.
The Royals are the other spot. So
The Royals,
the Central has
Royals
3
too.
getting in.
Royals have been on. Bobby Witt, my guy.
Yeah, he's a beast.
That's been on fire. On fire. He's a stud.
He's a
I
beast.
like the Royals. I like watching the Royals.
You have anybody in terms of World Series sleeper? I still think it's going to be one of the top 4.
No, I think it's a
complete chalk.
I think it's a power.
I think you're better off betting exactas in the World Series. I think you're better off parlaying like Philly, Baltimore, Philly, Yankees. I think you're better off doing that.
No, I think so.
I
think it's like the Yankees, Orioles, Dodgers, Phillies. Like I'd be willing to take them and give the field.
Would you take the Guardians to win the AL?
No.
No?
I just don't believe in them in the
Right.
playoffs. Because they're a team like you talk about the Yankees, like they just don't. To me, they don't have the bats. Like obviously, Jose Ramirez is great. I just don't think they have like the depth in the lineup.
Yeah, but you never know what a team can do at the
starting
deadline.
pitching isn't like it's been good. I feel like it's I don't know. I feel like they're a team that's due for some regression.
Yeah, I don't know.
I still think they'll win the division, but
you never know what a team does at the deadline. So we'll see. All right, it is Wednesday. I got a win total. You got a win total?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to give you SMU over 8. Things to like. Preston Stone at quarterback. He threw 28 touchdowns, 3,200 yards, 6 INTs. He missed 2 games last year with those numbers. I got a good running back in the kid Jalen Knighton, 5.5 a clip. They got 4 of their 5 top pass catchers back, including the tight end R.J. Maryland. He had 7 touchdowns himself. 8 starters back on offense, 10 of them upperclassmen. They'll start 10 upperclassmen on offense. Defense, 6 of the 7 top tacklers back. They were 11th in points per game, 12th in yards allowed. You got to like the schedule. The ACC is Louisville and FSU. I think Louisville's tough, but it's winnable. Florida State, let's say that's the loss. That's the only game they're probably going to guarantee to be losing on paper. The rest of it is at Stanford, at Duke, Pitt, BC, at Virginia, and Cal. Not necessarily the top of the ACC. So if you go 5-1 there, you go 6-1 there, you're looking at Nevada, BYU, and Houston Christian all have to be wins. That's 8. I got TCU in a toss-up. I got Louisville in a toss-up. I buy this team. Fun-time offense, big-time offense, can score some points in the ACC. I'm buying SMU. I'm taking them over 8.
No, I like it. I love Preston Stone. They're a team that I'm very happy that they should have been in a power conference a long time ago. And I'm happy they're
The only thing is making a leap. Do you worry about making a leap in the ACC competition the first year? Like getting punched in the mouth on the lines, maybe schemes,
but I mean,
coaching.
Listen, they've been one of the better G5 teams for a long time. They were good last year. They bring back a lot. Like I said, I like Stone. I'm not like that worried about it, especially in the ACC. Like, listen, if they I know you went through the schedule. Of the Florida State, Miami, Clemson. How many of those teams they have to play?
They just play Florida State.
So that the draw.
Florida State and Louisville is the top 2.
The draw went pretty well for them. The
Yeah.
fact they don't have to play all 3 of the.
That's the thing that's.
Three in the conference.
I know we're going on tangents. Like that's the thing that sucks about these unbalanced schedules in the ACC.
But you're going to see that in all the conferences. As the conferences grow, you can only play so many teams.
I know. I don't know what the answer is. Like maybe you just keep divisions and you only play that side. Because then you'll never. I know. Then you'll never play the other side. There's no perfect thing in there, but the unbalanced schedule to me really sucks.
But why is it? So, I guess I just think it's like a part of it's just what it is.
It's a part of it. No. Agreed. It's just
when there's
20 teams, 18 teams in a conference. You're only going to play 9. That kind of sucks. It's not a true indicator of who's better than who. That's all.
No, but I think it just listen. Like the schedule sometimes is going to fall your way. Sometimes it doesn't. That's just kind of how it.
Right.
How it goes they just obviously have so much donor money. It's in Dallas. Like, it's nice to see them because I think you're going to see a ton of money pour into that program.
Yep.
And I think they will be successful. I like it. Mine's also 8 wins. I'm going with Kansas. I love Kansas.
I was looking at this under.
Kansas under?
I was looking at it.
I mean, to me, listen, it's Jalen Daniels is the X factor. And I know
he has to stay healthy.
He missed a ton of time
being left.
He missed a ton of time last year. He only played, I think, in 3 games. But, I mean, when he's healthy, if he stayed healthy for the whole year, I legitimately think they could win the Big 12. They're that good. The offense brings back pretty much everyone from an electric offense. Daniels is unbelievable. I mean, Devin Neal might be – you have Ollie Gore in that conference. Devin Neal's unbelievable running back, one of the best in the country. They bring back, basically all the receivers who were very good last year. Graham, a lot of these guys. Their secondary is very, very good. The biggest X factor in defense is their front 7. They do bring back some guys, but they weren't great last year against the run. So that's something they need to figure out. I think defense got better as the year went on. They should improve in year 2 with the coaches they brought in the last couple of years. But I like Kansas. I just believe in Leipold as a coach. When I look at the schedule, they don't play Oklahoma State. Their toughest game is they have to go to Kansas State. That'd always be a tough game.
Always a tough
rivalry game. Obviously, your favorite game of the year.
Yeah.
But
which I'm worried about this year, to be honest with you. But yeah,
the way the schedule unfolds for them, I really think 9 wins is very doable for them. This is a team that if they went 10-2 wouldn't shock me at all. I think they're a legit contender to win the Big 12. Really, really like Kansas over 8 wins.
Okay. What else have you been looking at? What'd you guys break down on unnecessary roughness? You looking to a conference?
We're recording tonight or this afternoon.
Okay.
No, I think it's because next week we go to 2 episodes a week, and I think that's when once August hits, we're really doing the previews and the deep in-depth stuff for all the conferences and stuff like that, making our picks. We're what are we officially like 4 weeks away?
Yeah.
Starting on Saturday, it'll be 4 weeks.
Crazy. Is it that quick, dude?
We're right there. Because week 0 is August 24th.
I knew that.
Early this year.
Yeah, no, it's about the same every year.
Literally,
It's about the same every year.
Exactly a month from today is week 0. We're 1 month from college football.
That's about the same time it could be every year.
I think week 1 there's something that August 31st to September 2nd. Like there be no, it's 2 days with that mental for me of the fact that week 1 happens in August.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
It's just that I'm just like, like week 1's August 31st.
It is. So it is early this year. It's a good point because September starts on a Sunday. So you're
a lot of times it's been
it's the early possible date.
0. We've seen weeks where week 0 is like the 28th, 29th.
Yeah, it's the earliest possible date it could
Yeah,
start.
like 3rd, 4th, 5th.
It's a good point.
Did you guys go over Miami yet on any win total Wednesday?
No, I mean I liked them week 1. That is a massive. Like I'm on Florida's. I got Florida's under now. It's 4.5. I think it was.
Their schedule is crazy.
It's brutally crazy, but they're a 2-point favorite.
So hard.
Or they're a 2-point dog against Miami. So like if they steal that one, if whichever way you go, I saw Brandon took Florida. I think win total over, which I'm interested to see why. Or I'm sorry, he took my Florida week 1 against Miami. That's what he put out early. Week 1
Where's the
early.
game? Is it in the Swamp?
It's in the Swamp.
I don't hate that. I kind of like that.
So like that's a make or break for Miami.
Like
now
that.
Miami's under the 8 ball, behind the 8 ball, making the playoff, winning that conference. And you got Florida stealing a win against Miami. That's a huge game. What time is that game? Week 1?
I don't know.
3:30, I think.
I love that spot for Florida.
I was gonna say I'm thinking Miami over 9 wins.
Miami has all the hype in the world. They brought in Cam Ward. They brought in Damian Martinez, stud running back from Oregon State. They brought in all these transfer guys.
Great offensive line.
They bring back a bunch of guys, but they're definitely going to be the sexy team. But they've had quite a few years. They've been like the sexy team.
I don't know how sexy they've been though compared to like this year. Like they brought back Tyler
Well,
Van Dyke.
I feel like you don't. In the last 5 years, they've had some like what was it? That early game they beat the shit out of Notre Dame. What was that, 3-4 years ago?
Yeah.
And that team people were all hyped up on. Like you see it where they bring in some talent. It's Miami. It's the U. Like you want to get behind it, and I do. Like there's, I'm part of me where it's like I want to. Am I going to get fooled by Miami again?
3:30.
Am I going to be all in on
3:30 on Saturday? 3:30 on Saturday. That's a great one.
I love Miami. I also think that Cristobal is kind of instilled his physicality and his mantra in. Like last year, even pretty underwhelming year, but if you watch that defense, you could tell it was a Mario Cristobal team. Mm-hmm. Just the way that they played the pass rush, how they defend the run. So I don't know. I'm all in on Miami, and I took them over 9 wins, including I marked them down as a loss week 1. So I have them losing to Florida, and I still have them going over 9 wins.
That is a tough ask.
What's their schedule? Pull it up.
Miami's. I don't think it's that crazy from the ACC perspective. I don't think.
Jamie, pull that up.
on Jamie.
You have them winning 9 games without Florida.
I think Miami. I think Florida is better than. I don't agree
know.
that they'll do
I'm
shit.
worried about Florida.
I do think that they'll be better than they get credit for.
Florida, it's more the win.
Does Napier make it through the season?
Who?
Who's Florida's coach?
Napier.
Does Napier make it through the season?
Yeah, I think he will, just because Florida's win total. Everyone's talking about it. It's not even so much the team base; it's just the fucking schedule.
Yeah, it's the gauntlet.
We're having to play Tennessee, LSU, Bama, Georgia. They got to play
in a row.
All these teams back.
Pull that back.
I will, and I also want to say this. I also think that with the 12-team playoff now, right? When you drop a week, you drop a game now. Compared to last year, it might be teams morale's low, locker room breaks up. Kind of, you might lose
transfers.
2 or 3 more. You might lose 2 or 3 more games because you're just season's fucking dumb. We're not making the playoff. Nothing matters anymore. Now, if you lose 1 game, it isn't killer.
No.
It's not like the season is over and
no.
You could still get into the playoff with the 12 teams. So I think that will motivate teams more. Maybe it's just also bullshit that I'm telling myself.
No, coaches have to have the right attitude with that too. They got to corral their teams.
It's not just over right away.
Coaches need to corral their teams and be like, it's not over.
So, Florida.
All right, Florida.
Tough game.
Tough game, so let's count that as a loss. Florida A&M win. Ball State win. South Florida
should be a win, but it could be a sneaky tough game.
3.
Good offense.
I think Virginia Tech. I'm high on Virginia Tech. I think Virginia Tech can go either way. They have to win that game if you're Miami, if you're backing that win total.
Yeah.
Virginia Tech is very, very good.
At home, and I gave them Florida.
Virginia Tech should be tough, but
Virginia Tech's very good.
I think it's a win.
So we'll give them that win. That's 4. Cal is horrific. That's a 5.
Yeah.
Louisville's difficult. Could be a letdown. But take that.
This was the one that I needed them to have in my hypothetical.
Louisville.
I would probably agree.
Florida State, let's say.
Tough one, but at home.
At home, exactly.
Duke win.
Duke should be a win, but sneaky tough.
Georgia Tech win. Wake win. Syracuse win. What's Miami to make the playoff?
Georgia Tech was that boogeyman last year where they couldn't need it and they fucking ran it out.
So let's say Miami.
Lost.
Let's say Miami
plus 400 to win the ACC, which I'm taking.
Let's say Miami loses to Florida State and even loses the ACC championship game, 10-2 or 11-2. 10-2 would they be? 10-2. You have them as a playoff team?
It really depends how things unfold.
Because then what's their marquee win is the other question of that. Don't tell me who they lost to. On that schedule, what's the win that stands out that was big?
Plus 220.
If they lose to Florida State and Florida?
No, Florida State and then the ACC championship game too.
Those are the 2 losses, then they probably get in.
What if it's Florida State and Virginia?
If they beat
Florida State and Virginia Tech and they don't get in to the ACC championship game?
Probably not. Because I think you're gonna have too many. You're gonna have like
Big Ten teams,
Ole Miss and Bama in the mix. You're gonna.
I think they have to be the runner-up.
You're gonna have like in the Big Ten. You're gonna have Ohio State, Oregon, Penn State should be good.
What are they to make the playoff?
Michigan.
Plus 220.
Interesting.
Plus 400 winning the ACC.
And then like ACC, I think you're gonna get probably 2. Like I think there's a decent chance you get like the winner. Like you get if it's Florida State, Clemson, you could get both of them in. Like
Big 12 could be sitting on 2 or 3.
the Big 12 could possibly get
K-State, Oklahoma State, Utah.
At least 2, maybe 2. 8. Yeah, I mean.
I just have a question that I just thought about because I'm just looking at the odds. How many teams how great of odds they have to make the playoff, right?
Yeah.
At what point is making the playoff? At what point is making the playoff not enough to have job security as a head coach?
Depends.
It's a program.
Like
Ohio State, I wouldn't say just making the playoff is like enough in the 12 team.
Well, would it be like we were
Well,
top
like
4
it's weird because like
DeBoer. Does that help your job security anymore, or is it like we don't give a fuck if you're top 4 or you're top 10?
Well, all right,
top 4 would help because you get a bye, so you're like you made it around into the playoff. So I think top 4 would make a difference.
What if Kalen DeBoer makes the playoff all 3 years, but they never make the semis? I don't think he gets fired, but I think they would say hot seat, which is crazy. But if you make the playoff one time at Oklahoma State or Ole Miss, you're gold.
That'd be a weird.
Or Wake Forest. You know what I'm saying? It's all relative, dude.
The trajectory for Bama with that would be weird because
he's building. He's building.
No. I'm saying if you said they make the playoffs all 3 years, if they make the playoffs this year, that's a huge success.
Right.
But if they did the same thing this year and then did it 2 years in a row with no progression. I don't think, like you said, I don't think he gets fired, but I think they'd be like, you're in the same spot you were in 2 years ago.
Yeah, but if I was DeBoer, I'd be like, dude, I'm one of the 8 best teams in the country.
But I said not going to fire him.
Right. It would just be hot seat.
I don't even think hot seat. It's more just like
you are what you are.
It's just Bama. You just gotta.
Yeah.
You're just at Bama, and you're in the post Saban era. Like this generation expects winning.
Yeah. Why, dude?
As much as they've cooled their expectations with DeBoer, if they are a top 10 team this year, even if they come in like second in the ACC, they're in the playoff. Like I mean, the expectations are still going to be. I mean, they're still going to be hyped up. Like they're going to be excited for that for now.
Yeah.
But then next year they're going to be like national title.
Why? Who did you have as compelling to make the playoff? Or
No, not even playoff. I was thinking like Sharon Moore. Like, say he goes like the next 3 years, 1-2 against Ohio State, makes the playoff 3 years. Would that be enough? I would say.
Yeah.
I would say
enough to keep his job. 100%.
You know what? And the only reason I was saying in this hypothetical I was saying is because you beat Ohio State too.
But even
or is it like it's so weird with Michigan? Michigan's like the weirdest team for me.
You got to think. Obviously, Harbaugh would have a longer leash than anyone would. He lost like 5-6 in a row. I think the first 5 in a row.
Okay, but
and they never won the Big Ten.
I know, but I'm thinking of it like this: is you were dog shit with Michigan. Harbaugh brought you all the way back to glory.
Yeah,
all the way back, and then now if you lose it again, or you kind of like lose a step, is it just like we need to keep this momentum?
I think it's like the way you laid it out. If they made the playoffs 2 of the next 3 years, he's 100% safe. Like I don't think Michigan fans, even though they won the Natty this year, I don't think they have the same thought process as like Bama fans. Like I don't think they're sitting there being like, like Michigan this year. If Michigan goes 8-4 this year, no, I don't think anyone's really going to be calling for Sherrone Moore's head.
No,
no one.
No,
I don't think. If he went 8-4, like if say he went 8-4 3 years in a row, calling for his head, maybe. Even then, I still feel like he. Like, listen, the hardcore crazy fans, I think if they went 8-4 3 years in a row after winning a natty,
they try to force
they
him
might
out.
have something to say. But I think they'd also be in this place where they'd be like, Ohio State's really good. There's Oregon in the conference now. USC's in the conference now. They're good. Penn State's really good. So I think you look
Washington.
Washington. You look at the
UCLA.
You look at the depth of the Big Ten now compared to what it was. It'd be like it's a little bit harder now, but also it's easier to make the playoff.
Yeah.
So I think like if they're consistently going between like 8-4 and 10-2, like I think he's not gonna like go anywhere.
one more. They make the playoff one time in the next 3 years, but they beat Ohio State twice.
He's gold.
Right. Yeah, easily.
He's gold.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that was the other flip side of that. What does Day have to do in the next 3 years? Because I'm not looking to fire the guy, but eventually you got to break through.
I think it's this year. He has to beat Michigan and win the Big Ten. Beat Michigan that's it. He beats Michigan like this year.
If he doesn't beat Michigan this year, you're looking at firing him.
Yes.
Yes. I'm sorry, this isn't like anything.
What is his record at Ohio State? I'm not knocking. Like I'm not.
He has the best win percentage of college football.
Jesus Christ! And he's gonna get fired. It's fucking crazy.
If you lose to Michigan,
yes, I agree.
When you have a way better
you can
team,
see how that's fucking crazy.
When you have a way better team and you're
Agreed. But you can see how that's fucking insane.
Sure. We have insane.
It's insane. It's an insane business. No, I agree.
Everyone.
It's an insane business.
Not everyone. We're it. Like you have to do it.
Crazy.
And you got to listen. I give him a lot of credit because a lot of teams I think would have fallen off, and he's literally kept Ohio State like at the pinnacle. They just haven't gotten over that hump. I mean, if he has a kicker that just clutches up.
Yep.
2 years ago, he has a national title on his book.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't have. He beat Michigan the first couple of years he was there.
He lost the national title game in Alabama.
Yeah, we got smoked the COVID year.
Right.
So he's brought the team to a national title game. Had a kicker with a 49 50-yard field goal to go to the national title game that we would have been 2 touchdown favorites and we would have smashed TCU.
I need Ryan Day to have a dominant team that loses to Michigan and then loses in the semifinals.
Yeah,
why?
That might be
because
fireable.
it would be imagine having the best team in college football. Everyone's like, this is the best. We're watching them. They are the best team. Michigan beats them, so you have that funny storyline being Dave could parade that, and then all of a sudden it's just you have another dominant team that just fucking loses overtime in the semifinals, and then you would just give you that situation what the fuck? I think it's a dream scenario for dramatics.
Is that if they beat Michigan and win the Big Ten, he's fine.
Yeah,
that's
but
it. Listen, this team is so talented.
Other programs,
it is natty or bust. But if you're if you laid it out fully, where they ran the table, or even if they lost a game, say they lose to Oregon or whatever, they beat Michigan, they win the Big Ten championship game, and they lose in the natty to Georgia. No one's gonna be fired this guy.
Right.
But it's crazy that if they lost to Michigan and don't win the Big Ten, and still Buke said if they made the semifinal and lost, I'd be yo, I'm the talent this team has and what they brought back. I mean, they brought back so many guys that would have been top 3 NFL draft picks. So many. Defense is loaded. Maybe the 2 best running backs in the country. He's not calling plays this year. Chip Kelly's calling plays. I mean, the defense should be so good and so stingy. No one should be able to score on us. The talent we have on all 3 levels, I don't know how teams are going to score. If the offense can run the football, we should dominate.
You see why it's funny though, right?
Of course I do.
Because again, you win the Big Ten but lose to Michigan. The funny thing is you're right. You should not fire him. People will be calling for his job,
yes.
which makes college football so funny.
If he wins the Big Ten, that's the little weird part because Michigan has kept us from doing that the last 3 years. Where if we lost to Michigan, losing to Michigan is unacceptable. That's what it is. I keep but it's winning the Big Ten is the ultimate goal. At least the ultimate first goal in the
because that secures you a spot in the top 4.
Pretty much.
I do.
Whatever, they got to be like, it's just the talent discrepancy. And Michigan has a lot of high level talent on defense. Just have to be Michigan.
Correct me if I'm wrong, or remind me. The only home games for the playoff are the 5 through 12s, correct?
I believe so.
Would make sense.
I believe so.
Would make sense.
Not the 1 through 8s are home games, correct?
I don't
like the quarters.
I don't think.
Where are the quarters? Where are the quarters home?
They might be. The quarters might be home games. I need to double check on that. The quarters.
No, I don't think so because they're playing them New Year's Day, so I think those are neutral site games. The quarters are New Year's Eve and New Year's Day.
Yeah, just a 5 through 12.
It's just 5 through 12, right? Okay.
Makes sense.
I do have to say that the one concern, I guess, that Will Howard at Kansas State was great, and somebody in the chat brought this up. I
love Will Howard.
I agree, and for some reason, I don't know why I can't get this out of my head. I just feel like it's kind of like a lateral move.
I mean, that's when the.
You think Will Howard is a lateral move?
No, that's when That's what everyone's saying. That's what the narrative is like. You went up, moved on from McCord.
Will Howard playing.
Howard's
going to the Big Ten.
You think Ohio State made a lateral move?
Yes.
Right.
He made a jump.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
And again,
obviously.
And I love K-State, but he made a jump.
And Will Howard at Kansas State and playing in the Big 12, yes, I could see that played like great ball. Him going to the Big 10, I think, is a huge jump. And then to have the expectations of Ohio State program,
right.
That's the X factor for me. I mean, I'm not breaking news there.
Yeah.
I think it's just with him. I think you're just getting a veteran who's played a lot more football,
smart, takes care of the ball.
I think a huge thing is
winning culture.
He can actually run. Like you can read option with him and do different things like that. That with McCord you couldn't do. And I think it's a huge part of Ohio State's offense. And I think that's gonna be the experience with his legs. I think is gonna be the big X factor. He's not gonna have to throw the ball. Listen, we have great receivers. He's gonna throw the ball. But I think this offense is going to be so heavily reliant on Travion Henderson and on Judkins. Like they're going to be the engine of the offense.
It's going to open him up for play action.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I think, and just Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly loves to run the ball. That's what this team's going to do. That's going to be the strength.
I forgot Chip Kelly. I forgot Chip
calling
Kelly
the plays. This is the first time Day's not going to call the plays.
I forgot Chip Kelly was with you guys.
Chip Kelly is calling all the plays.
It's crazy.
Which I like because I think it gives.
Who did UCLA hire?
Someone in house.
Yeah.
Damn. I forgot Chip was with you guys. That's a fucking home run.
And he coached under Kelly for a long time. Day did.
Yeah. You think Chip has anything left in the tank? Does he get back to a head spot?
I think this is when Chip was like at his best. When he gets to your only
offense.
Your only thing is just offense. Just run the offense, call the plays.
Because UCLA had some dudes. The guy DTR.
Yeah.
Who was the running back I loved? He went to Seattle in the last 5 or 6 years. The kid from UCLA. I loved him. Loved him.
Fuck.
The running back?
Yes.
Running back.
Yes.
Google Seattle's draft picks in the last 5 years. Even my dad, too, was like I love this kid. 24 or 44?
Not Kelly.
You'll get it if you put UCLA running back Seattle Seahawks. Right. I know he went to Seattle. Charbonnet.
That's right. Charbonnet.
Fucking beast.
At Michigan.
Yeah, he was good. So, I think you're right. Chip Kelly just focusing on offense is a deadly, setup.
I love it. I just love the fit. Because I think Day's had we literally have never had, this is the first time with Day we've had a true offensive coordinator.
Right.
We didn't have one. Day just ran the offense and was the head coach.
I do think we're going to see that a lot, too, now, with college football and even, I think, the Coach K record just going to college basketball, those won't be broken now because the coaching lifespan will be so shortened because of the NIL and all that shit.
Right.
And then when you're seeing college football, you'll just see coaches be like, I don't want to be a head coach. Just make me one of the highest paid assistants.
That's what I think Chip Kelly basically would have was the writing was on the wall that he probably was going to have one more year left. And he's like, I can go to Ohio State, make $3 million a year as a coordinator. And I don't have to deal with any of the ass kissing, the NIL, a lot of the recruiting.
The press.
I'm just fucking.
He's going to have to answer some questions.
I'm just Tate calling plays. That's what he loves to do is bread and butter. I love it. I think it's going to work out very well.
Yeah. No, so there's a lot. But would you say he'll be a head coach again?
Yeah, if he wants to be, I'm sure. I'm sure he will.
That's the answer. I think. If he wants to be, he can be.
I mean, yeah. If he runs a good offense this year with Ohio State, he'll get a head job right after.
Just if he wants to.
Right. Picks. I'm going to take the Phillies tonight. I know it's a little juicy, but I'm going to take the Phillies today. 1:10. Yeah, you're right. 10 minutes. Take the Phillies. I like the Phillies today. Shout out DraftKings. Ed, what do you got?
I got the Brewers money line. That's
Okay.
the 220 plus 130.
All right, Dukes, anything?
Mets tomorrow.
That's tonight?
Tomorrow.
Why tomorrow?
I'm going to the Mets.
Okay, fair enough. All right, big one tonight in the Subway Series. That's Pick Central. No show tomorrow. We're all in Chicago taking care of something, so no show tomorrow, and we'll come back Friday. We'll see you Friday.